Okay, by the way, go ahead and welcome us in. We're in what now?
Wow. Like, why? Why every time? Welcome to the women's cave, y'all.
Oh, so professionally done. Oh my word. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay.
I just recognized I got smaller. I've
No,
been working
whatever.
on losing
She's been
weight.
she's been working on her tan, and our tan is looking fabulous. So y'all listen to the podcast. I need to go on over and look at it, the video, because the
Yes.
tan is amazing. I'm Jade.
And I will know that. And do you know something? I just want to say one thing. You know what I just recognized? I don't have on a sweater today. I feel naked. I need to get a sweater.
And with that, folks, we're done. All right. With that, folks, we're done. We wrote literary life guide for
Poetry.
Sorry. Okay.
I just
No, I can't.
feel naked.
I can't. We're
Okay,
not going back.
Wait.
We are pushing forward.
Push forward. We shall.
Goodness.
Literary life guide.
We're gonna hope they forgot that. Literary life guides. And I thought divorce was that. I can't
With
do
other
it.
life lessons, and I thought being grown-ups was easy. If only I were me, a memoir in I was about to say a memoir in vortex.
And vortex. And memoir and vortex. Whoever wrote that book, I'm reading it like yesterday. Oh my goodness, a memoir in vortex.
Anyway, the memoir in verse book can be found on audible.com. You can find the rest of our 17 books at
www.andithoughtladies.com. Y'all, we're having a silly day today, but y'all aren't here to hear about us.
You're here to hear about our wonderful guests.
Really? What?
Excuse me. Wonderful guests. Would you like to introduce yourself?
What is this today?
You two are hysterical. Oh my goodness. Hi everyone. I'm Melody Simpson. I am the founder of Melanin and YA, which is a database for all things Black in traditional young adult publishing. So that's me, and I'm also a writer, a young adult sci-fi writer.
Okay.
Also, maybe she's going to write the memoir in vortex. Maybe we gave you a title. There you go, just for you. So we did it on purpose, y'all. Really? Yeah. Do you believe us?
Silly genius.
Yeah, silly genius. High five, but social distance because COVID's still out here. Don't touch me.
Okay, so let's get back to you. Shoot, I forgot her name.
Okay, so no.
How did you get started with writing and reading?
Well, with reading, I've always been a reader. My parents have been huge readers, so I've always read from an early age. And then writing, that was about first grade when I started to really understand that I could write for myself and make that a career. My father is actually an artist, and my mother is a singer. So I've always been involved in the arts. So it's been pretty natural for me.
So, I mean, as you're talking about how your parents are voracious readers and you are too, I was just wondering, have you ever dealt with the stereotype when people say, oh, African American Black people, they don't read?
What is it? No, it's an old saying. Actually, some friends of ours that are passed away now used to make the joke, if you want to hide something from a Black person, you put it in a book. And I've always been like, wait, why is that true? Why is that not true? Why are we not talking about this? But how do you deal with it?
Well, I mean, I've heard it before, but not like directed towards me or anybody that I know in particular. So it hasn't been like something that I've had to deal with directly. But it doesn't make any sense because Black people are like the biggest readers. So that there's no validity to that anymore, if there ever was. So yeah, I don't really take things that are so silly like that seriously. Like there's no need to put energy into silly stuff like that.
Oh, thank you for saying it just like that, because definitely that's how I do it all the time.
Right?
Like someone, I was in the library and they were all like, oh, you work here. And I was like, I know, I don't. Well, your people don't read. I'm full of books. Yeah. I don't.
That's why I thought you worked here, because you had an armful of books.
I'm full of books. Like I'm looking at the other books to check out. Like I'm full. And I was like, okay, well, I hope you find your book. I'm going to check out now. Goodbye.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask that question. It was a silly question, and I mean, well, it's not. It's serious, but
it's silly thoughts.
It's silly people asking those questions in real life.
Yeah, that is exactly,
especially in a library. But
Yeah.
the other question I wanted to ask is that you deal with Melanin and publishing and YA. So can you tell us a bit about the differences and struggles that we would have in publishing, traditional publishing, I'm assuming?
Well, I feel like in traditional publishing, there's definitely the pay disparity, where a lot of chances are given for white authors to get all these six-figure deals for basically the same story recycled a million times, whereas we have to, work twice as hard to get half as far, that kind of thing. So that's one thing. And then in the other sense, some I've heard and witnessed many times before, where my friends and people that I know and people that I don't know, they will go on submission to publishers with their agents to let's just say they submit like a vampire story, and the publisher says, oh, we have our Black vampire story, so we don't need yours, type of thing. Whereas they just bought like 5 vampire stories from white people. So it's like there can only be one Black story for that imprint, type of thing. So that's a problem. And then of course there's when you go to like book conventions and stuff like that, festivals, all that jazz, and their events and stuff, and they invite a whole bunch of white authors or non-Black authors, and maybe 1 or 2 of them are women, and maybe 1 or 2 of them are gay, and then they can say, oh, we have a diverse panel, but you didn't invite anybody Black. You didn't invite anybody with those marginalizations. So it's a lot of leaving us out of things and feeling like if you do include us, you only need 1 of us, and then even then you're not going to even pay us that much. So there are so many layers to it. It's just never ending.
That's very interesting. So why did you feel that it was time for you to step into the sci-fi arena, and not only the sci-fi arena, but the YA sci-fi?
Well, I personally, as a writer, I've always been a huge fan of sci-fi. My dad is a comic book artist, so I grew up going to comic conventions when I was a child. Honestly, actually, there's actually a picture of me in my mom's womb at a comic book convention. So I kind of like to say I've been going since before I was born. But I grew up on sci-fi and fantasy, but I've always leaned more towards sci-fi. When I was growing up, the Sci-Fi Channel was always on. So it's kind of just like a comfort to me. And I just know I love the tropes and I love how things are explored in that realm. So as a writer, I definitely enjoy that and world building in those types of atmospheres the most.
Okay, so I have one more question, then I'm gonna let Winona ask all the great questions. Are you a pantser or a plotter? And if so, how do you work either one of those?
That's a really good question. I feel like I'm a bit of both because I plan out the book that I want to write, but then I end up writing the book that needs to be written. And sometimes those can be 2 different things. So I can write halfway and then realize I'm not writing towards my outline. So I'll just keep going. I'm open to figuring out the story along the way as well. So I never want to be so tied down to an outline that I can't explore a story, because then I could miss something and that's not good.
Oh, okay. So you are a planter.
Yeah.
I like planters.
Your website is big on resources for African American writers. What resources do you think are like do or die that you have to know for traditional publishing?
For traditional publishing, I would say definitely that's a great question, because I kind of did so much research when I was querying, and I haven't really done as much ever since I got an agent. I'm going to be honest. So I don't know how up to date the resources that I used are. But I can say that Query Tracker, once you're ready to start querying, use Query Tracker, Writer's Digest magazine, whether you subscribe to the actual magazine or you just Follow the blog post online. Publishing Crawl, that's a great blog. Susan Dennard has a huge backlist of resources and information that will help anybody looking to get better with when it comes to the craft of writing. And I really do think that not just blogs and websites and stuff, but also picking up some books on the craft of writing. Like I would say Story, Robert McKee. What else? There's, The Anatomy of Story as well. That's another great book. Save the Cat Writes a Novel. I would say definitely, if you can, go to a local writers conference in your area as well. And a lot of virtual writers events are happening too, and bookish events. So definitely pay attention to those panels. And if you follow an author that you really like, some of them might be doing Instagram lives and stuff like that, where you can ask them questions yourself. And that way you can get that question about craft directly, that answer directly from them. So I feel like there's a lot of different outlets and different places that you can go. I know manuscript wish list is also great if you are in the querying stage and you're looking to figure out who is best to query. I'd also say, let me see, Terrible Minds. That's a great blog. Janice Hardy had, I don't know if she still does the blog, but I read that blog like crazy back in the day. And it really helped me when it came to learning about, I mean, I could go on. There's just,
I know, and it's been amazing. I've been like, I hope people have paused this like several times and wrote it down. Okay, so I have two questions, one kind of silly and then one kind of not so much. So here's the silly question. How do you keep your website up to date?
that the question is, I can barely keep up. I feel like I'm drowning most days because there's so much information. There's so much to put on there. And I've got most people use Scrivener just to write books and screenplays and all that jazz. But I also, in addition to that, I also use Scrivener to organize Melanin and YA. So I have a whole thing of what I need to still add onto the website. It's just never ending. That list is never going down.
Well, yeah, that's how it goes though, right?
Yeah.
Like, on your job. You're doing your job.
You're jumping into a question here.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Plan was.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. And I was like, and I had two questions. Wow. No, go ahead. Go.
This is your question. 1A. You just didn't know you wanted to ask. Do you think you're going to be doing a conference ever for just Melanin and YA?
That's a really great question. I would love to do a workshop, like a weekly workshop, maybe twice a year, eventually down the line. But a conference within itself, that would be a huge undertaking. So that would probably be 5 years from now, not anytime soon.
I was going to say right now it's on Zoom, so it's not hard. You just need to email people.
Yeah, I first want to get the website. I have so much on the website that I want to do, and I'm opening up an online store soon, in time for the holidays. So I do have some other physical things that I do want to take care of first before I branch out in that regard. But yeah, those things are definitely down the line for sure.
This is fabulous. We keep hearing about this website, but we don't know the name of this website.
That is very true.
Where can people find out more about you and your website?
Yes, so you can go to melaninnya.com, just melaninnya.com, or you can find me on Twitter at melanin_YA or Instagram at melaninnya. That's just for Melanin and YA. If you want to find more about me, you can just go to melodylsimpson.com, and that will lead you to Melanin and YA or my other blog, Hollywood the Right Way.
Okay, and what are some of the book titles that we should be picking up?
Ooh, that's a great question. I would say, well, Me Moth by Amber McBride recently came out, and that's a book in verse. And if you love books in verse, that is what you want to pick out. I would also say, I'm looking at my shelf right now. Oh, there's so many good ones. Darling by Kay Ankrum just came out. The Cost of Knowing, Blood Like Magic. Don't hate. There's so many good ones. I would also say if you can pre-order Bad Witch Burning by Jessica Lewis, that comes out August 24th, I believe. So if you like witches, that's a great one. Yeah, I mean, I could Chlorine Sky by Mahogany L. Brown is another book in verse, which is absolutely fantastic. So yeah.
And your book?
My book is still being revised. So hopefully that will be going on sub this fall with publishers. So we'll see about that. Hopefully we'll have some good news by the end of the year or next year.
Well, y'all, seriously, look out for that book in pre-order because my hand's going to be hovering over the pre-order. I'm like, there it is, pre-order. Got it.
Talk a little bit about Hollywood the Right Way, and then we'll be done.
Yeah, well, Hollywood the Right Way is, I don't want to say it's defunct, but I haven't been blogging there in a long time. But I started Hollywood the Right Way when I was 18 years old to basically blog about TV and movies and music, and in particular in theater, because I love Broadway. And I'm born and raised in New Jersey, so I used to go to New York all the time to see shows. So it was easy for me to do that. But yeah, I just wanted a place to express my love for those things. I interviewed actors and musicians and writers and all that stuff as well, reviewed stuff. So that was a good old time. I haven't done it in a while, but yeah, there's definitely a huge backlist of over 10 years of stuff to look at on there.
Well, that is fabulous. And thank you so much for coming on our show. We really appreciate it. And tell them one more time where they can follow you.
Yeah, Melanin and YA on Instagram, Melanin _YA on Twitter, and then just melaninandya.com to find everything else.
Thank you so much.
It's been such a pleasure.
I know. I just felt like I learned so much in these like 20 minutes. Like I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to watch my own show. Is that not? I don't know. I don't know. All right. So I guess I'll go ahead.
Jade, would you like to wrap us up?
I will. You can find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andithoughtLadies.com. While you're there, take a moment, go down to the bottom of the page. These are charities that we probably support. Maybe you can support them also. We thank you in advance for that. And just remember, y'all, wisdom is all around you.
You're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys. From Will, no.
And Jade, bye-bye. Oh, yeah. Thanks for listening.